I gotcha. All right. So besides cutting all that out, or most of it anyway,
Yeah,
this is this is the podcast.
yeah. The podcast is the name of it.
The podcast. Yeah. What was the name again? Lethally
Lethally
Stupid, right?
stupid. Yep, lethally stupid.
Yeah. Yes. God, that was such a hassle. And now it's just all like it's so confusing trying to remember that, but I'm sure we'll get
Well,
it down
we'll
now
remember it
now that we're
now
actually
that we're actually starting.
yeah.
Getting it going. We had people vote on it, so I mean, hopefully
Right.
it's a popular title since this is the one that got the most votes.
Right. Yeah. Almost everyone liked this one
Yeah.
over all the other options. And
All,
all the other options were literally just like reiterations of it, like, like stupidly lethal
one of them
or
was lethal. Instead of lethally stupid, it was lethal stupidity.
yeah, I kind of liked lethal stupidity
That
for a
yeah,
minute.
because I think lethally stupid was yours and lethal stupidity was mine.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and everyone went with yours. I got lethal stupidity out of all the people we asked got like 2 votes maybe, and then all the other ones got no votes.
Right,
So
right.
lethally stupid was the better one to go with for sure.
And oh, there was like a completely different one, but I think I threw it in as a joke,
I
actually.
think you did. I can't remember. We'd have to go find the poll to remember what it was. But yeah, no one voted for that one either.
No, no, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to look it up.
Yeah.
But
Oh, you
anyway,
disappeared.
yeah, I'm looking at my
Oh,
notes.
you're looking at your
So,
notes. Okay. What? Frankie Muniz should pop up like earlier. Damn it.
yeah, that was fucking perfect.
It was.
Well,
It
I'm
was
sure he'll
perfect.
come up
We'll figure
eventually.
it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, yeah, and so this is the first one. I guess I should say that I am Brandon.
And I'm
Uh,
Dyson. My name. I have it where our names are popped up in the bottom.
all right, and
Yeah.
mine says Brando,
Yours says
right?
Brando. Mine says my full name. Everyone's gonna be able to find me, my address, and come murder me if they want to. So
Yeah, and no one's gonna be able to decipher Brando.
no, they will not. Yeah, no, not at all. Especially because I have not been calling you Brando at all.
Right.
I've been straight up just like Brandon. About to start using your full name. Say your address at the end of it.
Right. Right. Make sure we throw in my zip code and my
Yeah.
social security.
Which, yeah, to start it off, we're going to record, this video format with, we're using Zoom right now because it's the easiest thing we could find to actually do it. But eventually we'll just be recording in person and
Hopefully.
it'll be better
Oh,
quality then because we're going to have ourselves some like actual podcast quality microphones and, yeah, a mixer and all that fun stuff. It'll
yeah.
sound better, it'll look better, and it'll be better because of that. Um, but
And like
we're not going to change much though. It's just the
it's
audio
gonna be
quality
better
really.
quality. Yeah, definitely better quality eventually.
Easier
Which
to talk
I
to
mean,
each
all that
other
stuff.
in person too because we won't accidentally talk over each other and stuff too. So that'll help.
Right. And
Yeah,
that's gonna suck, especially with like the delay between us. But I'm sure we'll somewhat get used to it.
yeah. We'll figure it out.
Um. Right. Right. And then also, like all that stuff is like pretty realistic for like price wise. Because one is it wasn't like the
Yes,
Mixer 200.
I
Yeah,
think we
and
can
I'm that.
get most of it for around 250, 300. And that's
Oh yeah,
and it's
yeah,
good
that's not bad.
quality ones too, at least, because eventually, uh, when we're super popular and the best podcasters on the planet, we'll get really good stuff. We'll buy the
Right.
fancy stuff.
That's
We'll
like
get a guy
whenever.
who's in another room, studio headphones, listening to us and all kinds of stuff.
We'll have a light that says on air.
Yes, we'll have like it says on air. We'll have a timer so we know
Yeah,
how long to go or not go.
yeah, and if
We'll have a
anyone ever
producer off
disrespects the
screen being like,
light,
"All right, end the podcast, cut it. You guys are
and then
going
we'll be
over."
like, we'll be like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
We're gonna we have the
Say, hey,
flow, and
we
we're gonna
pay
keep going.
your house payment, buddy. Shut up.
I bought you that QZ motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But we are going to compile notes before these, so we don't sound like just two buddies hanging out, because that's what we normally do anyways. So we want to at least have things to talk about whenever we start doing this. So Brandon
Oh,
has the big
absolutely.
list. I have like maybe four things because everything that you have on your list is good things to talk about, especially for what's going on now. So
Well, and we'll have general topics we'll like round about to
yeah.
if need be. But I mean, most likely if there's enough to talk about where we don't have to talk about that shit, then we'll talk
Also,
about
the
something.
occasional guest is planned,
Oh yeah,
but it'll always be us two is the plan.
right. And I honestly don't want to do a third person over Zoom because
No,
I
yeah,
feel
that'll
like
be
it's
more
gonna.
of a in person thing for sure. It'll
Mhm.
be much better. And I mean, if we absolutely have to do it over Zoom, then we might do it. And that's a big might.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather do it
It's-
if we're gonna do it over Zoom and be more than two people. I'd rather make it an even four if we're gonna do it like that. And that can
right.
be a
And
special
really,
longer episode or something, you know. So
really, if we were to do that, then like do it over Zoom, then it would probably be because COVID has somehow mutated and
again,
has
yeah, new variant or
run
something's come out, or
and yeah,
the world shut down again, something like that. Yeah.
right. Yeah, we're gonna get arrested if we step
But
out into the street.
but yeah, if we want to, I guess we can stop talking about our plans now, and you can talk about your first thing if you want to.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, so like you want to jump to the notes you said then?
Yeah, yeah, let's do it. Let's just
I
start talking about what's on your notes, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that I have here to talk
Oh,
about
yes, I do.
was Microsoft and them acquiring Activision Blizzard.
Yes,
Um,
yes, they did that.
damn, I wish the fucking Frankie Muniz would come
Would
up
actually
because that
pop
would
up
have
instead.
been,
Oh no,
yeah,
you
it
gone
was
away again.
perfect. It was perfect. See,
It
we
wa-
got all this like
I don't know
half
why
dead air.
why it stopped doing it. It must have been when you reset it, like the call. It must have fucked up something.
Right. See, okay, so like I just switched it back, and for a split second, um where my video is, I could see my icon. I could see Frankie, and it was glorious.
Yeah.
And in case we didn't mention it earlier, he's holding up like a Hello Kitty toaster
Yes, he
and a piece
is,
of
and
Hello
and
Kitty
also a
bread.
piece of toast. Yeah.
Yes, I should actually finish that story right quick. So
Yeah.
like I brought up an article, and the reason like why I found that is because apparently like at the Oscars and these big events that celebrities go to, um, there'll be like a room with a whole bunch of free stuff, but you just have to take a picture with it.
Mm.
Is all. So people will go and it'll be a lot of crazy shit. Like they'll have anything from like purses to dresses to like toothpaste. Like yeah, I can get you a picture of Dolly Parton with some toothpaste if you want. But,
That should just be a
uh,
segment on the show where you just show one of these pictures every episode.
yeah, yeah, that would be beautiful. There are some weird ones. Like I'll have to definitely
We
look
just
them up
end the
again. But
show with
Frankie
that
Muniz,
every week. We just end the episode with one of those photos.
yeah. But some were actually like really cool and iconic. Like you remember, oh, he was on American Idol. What is his name?
One of the judges,
Randy Jackson.
Randy Jackson. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. You could see him with like a flip phone and shit and like the headsets and just kind of stuff that you used to see him advertise back in like the 2000s when
Right.
American Idol was popular.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Now it's The
Yeah,
Voice. All right. That's the singing show. Or The Masked
yeah,
Singer. All right.
yeah.
That's what people are watching nowadays.
I have not watched a singing show since like season 8 or 9 of American Idol, and that was like it was one of those seasons. It was the first time they were like, "We're taking it off the air," and then they didn't.
Yeah.
And then they have said that like they've done that 4 or 5 different times where
I
they've
think the
said
last
like,
time I
"This is the
watched any kind
final
of
season,
singing
folks."
show was season probably 6 of American Idol because I used to watch it when I was younger with my
Yeah.
parents.
I used to watch it with my mom, but I stopped doing it because she would always like skip through a lot of it. Like she would skip to the singing part, and they had like the, context, the
Yeah,
background
yeah,
of her
we
just
watched the full thing. We liked hearing everyone's stories and
yeah,
stuff. You know, it was cool. And
right. And
uh, but my family, we're not much into the actual singing. We're more into the instrumental parts of music. So that's why we eventually just like We don't gotta watch it anymore. We kind of
Right,
just stopped.
right.
We
But oh,
found
but
other
I
things
mean,
to watch.
but it was so like it wasn't just the music that made it so fucking good. It was like Simon
I
and
mean, Simon
Paula
was
and Randy,
great.
all of them,
Yeah,
like all
Randy
their
saying
chemistry,
"dog" about
awesome.
55 times an episode was great. Yeah,
Right, like that was like your weekly dose of dog.
yeah,
That like 1 to 2 hours
especially
each week.
for like us because we didn't live in like cities or or like have the kinds of friends that said dog.
Right. No, there's no one cooler than Randy. Damn
Yeah,
it, there was no topping him.
yeah, not at all.
he, he was cooler than the only black guy in the school. And if you don't get that reference, you're not from Missouri.
Yeah, or in my case, you didn't have a black person in your school.
Oh, you didn't. I there would in my case there would be just one or two. Just most of the time one. I'd always be surprised when
We
there'd be a second
eventually
one.
did by the time I was in like middle school. We did finally, yeah, the token black kid.
Right.
We finally did, and he's great and still is great. It was awesome. We had more Asians or Spanish people in my school. That was the norm. 98% white, and then a sprinkle of Asian and Spanish here and there, and some Indian.
um,
I forgot about Native Americans. Also some Native Americans.
I feel like at one time in my life, the whole like the one black kid in school, I got that kind of reversed on me because I went to Carthage, and in
Yes,
Carthage, it's
it's all
like
all Mexican immigrants and stuff
yes,
like that. Yeah,
yeah, like they have the shops and everything. Like it's all oriented towards
or
Mexico.
Korean people if it's during the summer, also for Marion days.
Oh, okay.
Did you never experience
Yeah.
Marion days when you lived there?
I think I did. I just don't remember. I
Yeah,
guess
I'm pretty sure
it was
it's
like
a Korean
a year and a
celebration.
half of my.
Yeah,
It was just a year and a half, and I hated it. It was
yeah.
like
So
probably
you got
one
it
of my
reversed on you.
experiences,
You were
to
the
be
only
honest.
white kid in school.
Right, yeah. Well, that was the thing. Like, I at one point, like during the year and a half there, I just recall like sitting at a table with all the other white kids, and then you could just look around, and it was just a sea of other Mexican kids.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah,
And we were like on our own little raft out in sea, like
yeah,
we definitely stood out. Like,
yeah. I
and
bet. Yeah.
yeah, and honestly,
People look
like
towards you guys,
I
and they're like, ah, oh, so bright up there.
and honestly, like most of them like weren't bad. I talked to a lot of them. I was good friends with a couple of them,
I haven't
but
heard
there
too many
were
crazy
a good
stories
amount
about Carthage, like people being
that well,
too crazy with each other.
there was just a good amount that wouldn't associate with me.
I could see
Like,
that. Or
oh,
maybe, I mean, I know a lot of the immigrants who go to Carthage don't speak English, so that might be part of it too.
yeah, but like I don't even recall like that many who couldn't speak
Oh,
English,
okay.
and also there weren't any like teachers who spoke Spanish. For
Oh,
ironically
okay.
for a school that was like 90% Mexican kids, every single teacher was white. So
Yeah.
something weird is going on, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah.
that's Missouri for you, and that's why they're all there. Is like it's a fucking
Dude, Missouri
concentration
is so
camp in
weird.
disguise. To be honest, we segregated them. We
We
honestly
get
have.
different parts of the country who think we're part of the South, and then we have other parts of the country that think we're part of the Midwest. The real answer is we are
Yeah.
indeed part of the Midwest. If you look at official maps, we are a Midwestern state. However,
Yeah.
where we're at in Missouri, which is in the southern part of Missouri, I won't say the exact southern part of Missouri, but in the southern region of Missouri, think of us as like hybrids of Midwesterners and Southerners, and that's what we are.
Dude, that's exactly what I was like, or that's how I've always
Like
compared it.
like we drink
And the best way I
Budweiser, but we
describe it,
also really like ranch dressing. Like,
right, exactly. And the best way I describe it is that we're a border state, which we were during the Civil War.
oh yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, we were a neutral state. Yeah.
I I have a great story. There were one time I was at a gas station and this couple was buying like beer and shit, and
Okay.
so they were like asking questions like, or they asked the the person at the counter if like what time can you buy alcohol on Sunday or could you buy alcohol on Sunday?
Yeah.
And so like they were, and here it's like they changed it to like 1:30 actually, I think, or 1, something like that.
Like
It
1 in the
used to be like
afternoon.
12.
Yeah, something like that. So the church people could
Yeah,
still, make it in time.
right. um but yeah, so they were surprised when they heard how late it was,
Mm.
and they were like, we must not be part of the Bible Belt anymore. And I turned around and I was like, oh no, you are. We're just
Oh.
more laid back.
Yeah. We're just we're just we're just okay with people drinking.
Right, we're okay if the reason you didn't make it to church is because you're in jail. That's a perfectly good
Yeah,
excuse.
like if you're in jail because you were causing a scene because you were drunk in the middle of the street, who hasn't, right? Yeah.
Right.
Like it's
Who
I
hasn't
mean
been there?
everyone has to at some point, right? That's the only thing that's frowned upon is drunk driving, right? That's up. Don't
Fair.
drink and
Even though
drive,
we
and
still
you're,
do it.
you're good. There are people who do
Still do
it.
it.
That's true, but
Oh, for sure. Oh, I know people who do it as a practice. I know a guy
same,
who
same.
I know a guy. I also know a guy who's on probation for about 4 years because of it.
I know a
So,
guy who hasn't gotten his license back in like I'd say maybe over 10 years now because he just hasn't taken the time to do it. But lost his license because he got too many DUIs. So
well, I mean,
yeah,
if it's been 10 years, it'd be pretty easy for him to get it back at this point, right?
he
He would have to take a test.
I don't think he has to go to like any like classes or anything. I think he just has to take the test again. Is all.
Yeah, like like when we were 15, we didn't have to take any classes. I don't know about you over there, but in
I'm
Lamar
talking
we
about
didn't.
like there's some when you get too many DUIs and lose your license, you have to take some classes. I was like, hey,
Oh,
don't do this anymore. Kind of classes, not AAA meetings, but like there's specific classes for drunk driving stuff, and they make you take to get your license back. At this point, it's been so long, I don't think he has to do that.
right.
But if you tried to
Uh,
get it back like a year later, they'd be like, all right, you gotta go to these classes, buddy. So I don't think they have to do that anymore. But man, we've gotten off some tangents. If you want to start on the notes, or I can start on mine. I don't care. Whichever one we're gonna do.
I was actually thinking about bringing that up. Well, I know we're both somewhat eager to talk about sorry, Microsoft. That's in Minecraft.
Well, hey,
But
Minecraft's owned by
we did bring
Microsoft.
it up earlier. Yeah, true. We did bring it. We did say Microsoft earlier, so we better talk about it. But
Oh yeah,
anyway,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we don't want to not talk about it.
you're right. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
just skip this note. Never mind.
Yeah, like, yeah, we were talking about that, but now we're just talking about like Missouri and stuff. It's okay.
Yeah, but anyway, so that was 70 billion. I think my note said. If I want to pull it up, I don't want to.
It was like $60 or $70 billion, somewhere around that was the acquisition of.
I think I rounded it up. I think it was like 68.
It might have been 68. See, I knew it was close to 70, so yeah, that
I
sounds
think
right.
it wasn't it like the biggest deal like for like a company buyout.
If it's not the biggest, it's one of the biggest for sure.
I think I read that it was the biggest, but
No, it makes
don't
sense.
quote me
No.
on that.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
Activision and Blizzard because Activision they publish a lot. They own a lot of stuff. I mean,
Right.
Call of Duty, like they make so much money on
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
Well, actually, I have a list of everything I found noteworthy. I'm just gonna go ahead and list off so that I don't have to be gone for too long.
Yeah.
So like yeah, they have Call of Duty, Candy Crush, Crash, Spyro, Diablo, Guitar Hero, King's Quest, Skylanders, which they can have that one, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and World of Warcraft. Which they have a shit ton more, but those were definitely the ones that.
Those are the bigger named ones, yeah, for sure.
Those
So, Crash and Spyro being old PlayStation exclusives.
Yes, and
mascots.
on that, like I told you how like Microsoft on one of their like social media accounts, they replaced it with Crash Bandicoot.
Yes.
Like that's so fucking weird. Why would you do that?
But
after
since
people are
like
already in an uproar.
I forget how many years ago it was, but Crash games started coming to the Xbox and stuff. It wasn't like a PlayStation exclusive anymore. So I don't really care about the whole Crash thing appearing on something. I mean, They're buying Activision right now. Who cares? I understand there's
Yeah.
people who are upset, but Crash has not been a PlayStation only mascot for a while. Um, and neither has Spyro because Skylanders is part of the Spyro universe. So Skylanders
Yeah.
was on like everything when it came out. So it just and that's
Right.
because Activision made games for everything. They didn't just make things for PlayStation. Once Activision bought the rights to those things, they started putting them on multi-platforms. So it's for those two specifically. I don't really care. It's like they used to be PlayStation exclusives, and they always will in the
And
past be PlayStation exclusives. But they're not now. And oh well, I still got God of War and Spider Man and Uncharted and all these other games I can play that are on PlayStation, and I play all of them anyways. I have every console. So I don't care.
now, who owned Crash when it was being released exclusively on PlayStation?
Naughty
Because I
Dog, the
know I
people
know
who
it
made
wasn't Sony.
Uncharted and The Last of Us, were the original developers of
Oh.
Crash Bandicoot.
Well, and they're doing really well. Why did they? Well, maybe they're doing well
Back in the
because
day,
they
they're
sold.
also the people who made Jak and Daxter. Um,
Mhm.
So back in the Jak and Daxter days, I think it was around the time they sold Crash Bandicoot. It might have been around Jak 3 whenever games not started they started not selling as well. It might have been in between Jak and Uncharted, somewhere in there. They probably just sold the rights to get some money for budget, and maybe that's where Uncharted came from because they had enough budget to finally make a big game like that. But I feel like it was in between that time. I don't know for sure because I was a fucking kid. I didn't pay attention to that stuff. But it was probably somewhere in there. They probably sold it to Activision or somebody, and Activision have finally, picked them up. And then Spyro, that was made by Insomniac for the first two games, which are the guys who make
Oh
Ratchet and
yeah.
Clank and the new Spider-Man games, and they made Resistance, and I
Mhm.
mean, they're doing really great now. They were bought by Sony, like Insomniac is owned by Sony, so is Naughty Dog. Now they weren't directly owned by Sony back in the day. They just made a deal to make exclusives for them. But now they're actually owned by Sony, so now they make exclusives for sure for them. Um, that's why there's some Insomniac games. There's a game called like Fuse that is on multiple platforms, and Sunset Overdrive is an Insomniac Games only game that's on Xbox. It's only on Xbox. It was one of the
Oh yeah, and
launch
that
titles
one.
for the Xbox One, and then after
Yeah.
that, Sony bought Insomniac Games.
But they never brought that game over to PlayStation, did they?
No, because I think Microsoft still owns rights to the game. I mean, Insomniac made
Oh
it.
yeah.
Insomniac probably still owns, partial rights to it. They still make money off of it. Uh,
It might be just that particular title,
but
or they
it's
could
just,
make it
it's,
full
yeah.
exclusively
But
to
eventually,
PlayStation.
I could see it coming to PlayStations. I just don't know
Right.
how long that would be. Before that, I just want remakes of all the Ratchet and Clank games. Not even remakes, just fucking remaster them so I can play them again on my PS5. That's all I want.
Right. All
But
right. Now, so like while we're on the Microsoft thing, I wanted to like kind of give our opinions on what we think is going to happen. Me personally, I told you quite a bit, but I
mhm.
do think that you have a person who at any time can flip that switch and say any one of those titles will be exclusive to
To Xbox. I mean,
Xbox.
they own it. Yeah, they can do that whenever the hell they want.
Right.
It's up to them.
And I don't think it's something that will never happen. I think it's just an inevitability because
That
there's
will
going to
eventually
be a
happen. Yeah.
time. Yeah, there's going to be a time of desperation. There always is in a company. They're not like they're never. They're going to eventually top themselves, but they're not going to always be able to top themselves again. So they're going to
Yeah.
come up with some way to drag in some extra cash, and that's why we've come to microtransactions and shit like
However, I
that.
feel like that is far off because now that they own Activision, that's just more profit for them when they own it. So I feel
Yeah,
like it'll be a longer point in time before they reach any kind of desperation. I mean, they own Call of Duty, and Call of Duty makes a lot of money, especially since
yeah,
Warzone came out. Because Warzone is a free to play battle royale with a ton of microtransactions, and the microtransactions are all for weapon skins and characters that don't really affect the game in any way besides cosmetically. So, yeah, they make a shit ton of money now.
right, right. And I think that they will go ahead and keep it like kind of for the most part cross-platform, like especially Call of Duty
Well,
for
so
the
Phil
duration
Spencer,
of this
he's like the
generation.
Xbox boss. He tweeted out like 2 or 3 days after the acquisition was announced uh, that they plan to keep Call of Duty. For now, they
Yeah.
said they plan to keep Call of Duty on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's some games like sure they could make all of them exclusive. However, there are some games where it would be in their best interest to actually keep them multi-platform because they make more money that way.
Well, the thing is about that is
But not
that
all the
like it all
games.
depends on. Well, it depends on console sales, really, because
Yeah.
like say, because with the last generation Xbox One and PS4, the Xbox like outsold or no, sorry, the PlayStation outsold
Also
the Xbox
Xbox.
by
Yeah.
like it blew it out of the water.
Yeah.
So like I think it was like over 100 million to 30 million.
I think the
So
PS4 is now the best-selling console of all time.
yeah, I think you're right.
If it's not the PS2 anymore, it's the PS4 now. Like it's one of those two for sure.
Right. So, say last generation, if the situation was flipped, then it would be, like a really good profit strategy for Sony to make those exclusive.
Oh yeah.
Right now, since more people are prone to buying PlayStation, they're not going to get their money by making them
Well,
exclusive.
so
They're not going to get their money back.
Call of Duty is a AAA title, but it's not a AAA title that has like cult followings because I know multiple of my friends who do play Call of Duty. If it became an Xbox exclusive, they just wouldn't play Call of Duty ever again. They really wouldn't. They'd play other games. They wouldn't buy an Xbox
Mhm.
for Call of Duty. Now, I will say that about like the opposite thing about Bethesda. They bought Bethesda however long ago. The guys who make like Elder Scrolls, like Skyrim and stuff. They make Fallout, those games. I do have some friends who will buy an Xbox just for those games. So if they make those
Right.
exclusive, all right, they're going to get some Xbox sales if they make those games exclusive because they're going to be people who buy those games. And they're going
Right.
to buy a console to play those games. Not a lot of people are going to do that with Call of Duty. A lot of people will be like, whatever, I'll play Battlefield.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
everyone's going
And
to do
there's
that. There are going to be some though.
like
There's going to be a big number of people who do buy an Xbox for just Call of Duty if it's exclusive, but not as big a number as like the next Elder Scrolls game would. Like the next Elder Scrolls game might sell a couple million Xboxes just for that game, while they might sell 500,000 for a Call of Duty.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, hold on.
Let me just get that off my screen as soon as it lets me. I don't know what's happening.
Running out of time. Do we have a time limit?
It said that that it was being extended. It has a limited time now. So
So the next time we record, we only have like 40 minutes.
it told me that you only have 40 minutes if there's 3 or more people.
Maybe it's the way we set up the meeting.
There are 2 of you in here right now, so I might think that.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Because I exited out and I went back to the same meeting.
Same meeting,
So it
yeah.
has my old one and my new one because I completely refreshed the app.
Yeah.
So fuck.
It's okay. It said that the limited time was now happening, so
Yeah.
we're
So
good
hopefully
now.
that next time.
We could cut out a little bit of the shit show. And we're back.
All right. Yeah. Magic.
Yeah.
Like and
But so shit, I forgot where we're at because Zoom
oh fuck.
Zoom fucked us up.
Right.
Zoom's fault. Zoom.
We were talking about like just like what we thought was going to happen with Microsoft owning these games,
Yeah,
and you were talking about them owning
Bethesda.
Elder Scroll.
Yeah.
Bethesda, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like any Bethesda game, they're probably gonna make those exclusive. That's my guess. That those are gonna be exclusive, which is fine. I end up owning every iteration of console anyways. I make sure I have an Xbox, a PlayStation, and whatever Nintendo has going on. So
Right.
I always make sure to do that.
If you know that I don't always have money to keep caught up on shit, but my priority would be Nintendo, Sony, than
Yeah,
Xbox.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is a little bit different. My priority is PlayStation, Nintendo,
Right.
Xbox, um, because and that's just based off how much time I play each one. Most of my friends play PlayStation. That's why my PlayStation is going to be my biggest one. Nintendo, if it's up to me, and I had no friends at all, and what I'd play more would be Nintendo. So that's why it's my number
Hmm.
two. I don't really play that much Nintendo with my buddies. It's my own time, and then below
Well,
that is Xbox. So
well, that's why Nintendo's my number one is because I have no friends.
yeah, yeah,
At least
I
you're all over there,
yeah.
all the way, like fucking at least each of you 20 miles away. If not you,
We're,
I think you're like 40
I'm around
miles.
40 miles away. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and
I have no friends here.
yeah, and well, and you have a family. We don't always have time to
Right,
game together.
right. And like I
The friends
can't
I'm
like
playing with don't have families either, like me. Okay, we're we're
right
lonely
and
dudes. We play games together.
right. And if I were to get online, I can't be like interrupted for so much time
Yeah,
before that. It gets to the point where I might as well not be playing with the Switch. It's fucking oh no, my light died.
your light
I
died.
knew
Yeah,
this
it's all
was gonna
good. Your light
happen.
still looks fine.
Uh, oh, maybe not. Maybe it just
Maybe it has a
maybe it
time limit also. Why does everything
fluctuates.
have a fucking
It
time
might.
limit
It
now?
could. I mean, God, everything's against us. Everything's always fucking against us. And this is going so well too. Like,
I mean, technology sucks, dude.
yeah, yeah, that's the only thing
I
holding us
hate
up.
it.
Like, I thought we were going to have so much more editing to do. I feel very confident in what little we have to actually edit out of this one.
Yeah, I mean,
And that makes me really happy because it's going to look a lot more organic than I thought it was
one
going
of the
to.
things, like, we want to make it look as good as we can whenever we talked about making this podcast. But one of the other
Right.
things we decided with a name like
Lethally stupid.
Lethally Stupid. See, I'm getting the name wrong already. With
Yeah.
a name like Lethally Stupid, we could have some fuck ups in there and it just be funny. So, yeah, it could just be
Right,
funny little
right,
scripts.
absolutely.
Like on my end,
Right.
the Zoom thing popped up and it was covering everything, and I was just like, and
Yeah.
we might cut
Even
that
if,
out.
like,
You guys might not know what the fuck we're talking about because it might be in there, it might not be.
right.
You never
Well,
know
even
with a
if we
name
say
like
it,
Lethally Stupid, all right?
right. And even if we say, like, oh, let's cut that out, we'll definitely have a conversation later.
About
Like,
if we're
should
cutting it
we
out or
cut
not.
that out?
Yeah.
It's kind of entertaining.
Because one of my favorite
In my
podcasts, it's done by three of the Rooster Teeth guys. It's called Fuckface. But they have to
Mhm.
bleep it because you can't say fuckface a lot on a lot of podcast things like together. If you're gonna monetize
Right.
it, this first episode's not gonna be monetized, so I don't have to bleep it. But you can say fuck and then afterwards face and not have to bleep the F word. Just when it's together, you have to bleep it. So their show is literally bleeped when they say it. But that's because
That'd be
they
awful.
fuckface themselves, is what they call it. And there's so much they say, hey, cut that out. They don't cut it out. they keep a lot of shit in. But that's the point of the show. It's three buddies hanging out, talking
Right.
about whatever the fuck they want to talk about. But, I mean, we're going to still make it look as good and sound as good as possible. That's the plan.
Which that actually reminded me. Poor thumbfuckers were retiring.
Yeah, we're probably going to be changing the name of the entire channel to Lethally Stupid.
Right. Because we want the channel that we've already established. Like,
Yeah, and we can easily
you
change
know.
the name, and we have the logo for Lethally Stupid that we can update the logo
Right.
as
Yeah.
and everything. It'll be fine. Um, and we still have plenty of people over there on old thumbfuckers to
Yeah.
they're not gonna hate the name change or anything like that.
Oh no. No, I'm sure
Um,
they'll be fine with it.
they'll be fine with it.
Mhm.
And I mean, fuck, I need to start doing streams and stuff on there again. That's what I need to do.
Yeah, yeah. I've been thinking about that. Like, we did that one stream not too long ago, and then like a
Yeah.
week after that, I was like, "Shit, we need to jump on another one." But then another week went past, and then another. It's been
Yeah.
like what 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, probably. I'm gonna go to your notes for you because I forgot what was coming up later. Oh yeah, because you already talked about the crash icon and what we think's gonna happen with Microsoft. I think most of the things they're gonna make exclusive, but not all of it. And
Right.
like you
I mean,
said,
like,
only time will tell if they make all of it exclusive later. So, well, we'll just have to
and
see.
this, and honestly, it is a very make or break decision with the
Yeah.
company. One fear I do have is like there have been companies have bought other gaming rights, and then that company has gone down, and then those franchises have gone into the graveyard
Have
because of
gotten here.
it.
Yep.
It yeah, it's very sad because because no, there's not going to be a lot of companies that are just going to buy up every single dying property, and they're going to assume that's they're going to assume that's probably one of the reasons why the company capsized to begin with is because of those properties. So who's
Right.
yeah, I guess my light is dying,
It's all good. You still
because
look good without it going.
right. So unless it just happened to be like one game that sold millions of copies and then you lost all your money and the other like dozen games that you put out like
Yeah.
across the year, then yeah,
Something
maybe
I
that
wanted
one will
to.
get bought.
One of the things I was on my notes is in addition to your Microsoft acquisition of
Uh-huh.
Activision and Blizzard, is
Mhm.
the reports and rumors that are on other articles and other news sites that I follow about what Sony might be buying in response. And there's two big
Yeah,
ones on the list. One of those
so
is
excited.
EA,
Yeah, I remember you talking about.
and the other one is Square Enix. Those are the
Yeah,
two
and
big rumored one. The one that makes the most sense to me personally, based off of the fact that Final Fantasy VII Remake is already PlayStation exclusive, is Square Enix. It's the one that makes the most sense because Square Enix makes a lot of AAA like big story games and open world or RPGs. They make a lot of that. And PlayStation is more well known for their RPG and open world games, I feel like, than Xbox is.
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I just feel like that one makes the most sense because Final Fantasy 16 is already a PlayStation exclusive. It's not even out yet.
Right.
Console exclusive, it'll still be on PC. But that's how everything's going to do it nowadays, besides like Nintendo. Xbox and PlayStation are going to come out with games for their consoles exclusively, and they'll be like, oh, but you can play it on PC. So, PC
Right.
players are
And,
the ones who have it the best out of everybody right now. They're just like, oh man, I have a
mhm.
super fast PC because I spend a bunch of money to do so, and I get to play every fucking game because I have a PC. It doesn't matter.
They're
I,
the ones on the sidelines watching the rest of us argue.
yeah, yeah. They are the PC players are both SpongeBob and Patrick running outside, and it's Xbox and Sony, like PlayStation. We're the Squidwards inside the house watching them have fun with all of our games.
Right. Right.
Except for then there's Nintendo, who everyone's got to buy their shit to play their stuff. Everyone has to buy their stuff. PC, PlayStation, Xbox, we all got to buy their stuff. Which I think we need that. We need someone who's completely exclusive to their own stuff. We really do. And Nintendo's the best one for that bill, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't want to play a Zelda game on my PlayStation. And I don't want to play a Mario game on my Xbox. I don't want to. I
I
just want
have
the
said
Switch to be more
before,
powerful.
yeah, I have said before, like, I think Nintendo could thrive as a company that doesn't worry about the overhead of a console
Which that's something
and
else about
that
like the acquisition
keeps
of
everyone else warm.
Microsoft. I saw someone post like how much someone could buy Nintendo for, and it was like $56 billion. And that's something that doesn't make sense to me. That's their market cap. Like Xbox or PlayStation could just buy them because Nintendo owns the highest grossing like media franchise of all time, Pokemon. And if you look at
Right.
the top 10, Nintendo owns like four of them. So I'm
Yeah.
like, how is
Mario,
Nintendo's market
Zelda,
cap
Mario,
only 56
one of the
billion?
two.
Maybe 560 billion is is what I'm thinking. I don't know the exact number, but I
Right.
feel like it's got to be higher than 56 billion. Uh,
Mm, I don't know. Now, I have read Nintendo is like they have it planned out to where they can go 20 years failing without going bankrupt.
yeah, I
But
just feel like that's. I mean, if Activision Blizzard together was 68 billion, Nintendo's going to be worth more, right? I mean, more
yeah,
than
they've got to.
56.
I mean,
I,
fuck.
when I saw that report, I'm just like, that can't be accurate.
Yeah, no,
Like,
no.
I don't
And
know.
on it, like they just never are.
Oh, you want to talk about the shitty PlayStation Plus games for February?
Yeah, I think that'd be that'd be good to talk
Because
about. Yeah.
so Xbox Live
Oh
Gold
yeah, let's flip it.
games
Let's flip it. Yeah, we can't like have an entire podcast about
about
Microsoft and not
Microsoft,
talk
yeah.
about PlayStation because
So
we're number one PlayStation. Like,
I
well, I
want I
mean,
want to say
me
that
Nintendo.
so Xbox Live games with Gold, they're never really great in my opinion. Like they do a good job. You know, they make
Oh yeah,
they make people happy with their games. PlayStation is so
I've
hit or
never.
miss. PlayStation is like it's amazing every time, or it's just not. It's just not. Like
Right.
I love PlayStation, but Jesus, like what is going on?
Well,
I mean, one of the
they've
games
really
is a
topped
UFC
themselves.
game. A UFC game. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, they honestly, I think they really topped
I don't
themselves
even
this
own
time.
any
How
tap out
competitive.
shirts, Brandon. I don't own any tap out shirts. I can't play that game. Do you remember the kids who used
That's
to
a
wear
good
tap
point.
out shirts when
Oh,
you went to school?
no, actually.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Well, I had kids who did because they're big UFC watchers and played the UFC games. It's you tap out in fights, and that was
Yeah.
what people wore tap out shirts all the time. And yeah, I don't own one, so I can't play UFC.
Right.
And
But
then, oh, go ahead.
also, you saw that the other game was basically like a re-release DLC from Borderlands
It is a
2
standalone DLC, but I understand why people are mad. But I think I know why they're releasing it because in
because of the new game.
the new game in March, I believe is when it comes out, is a in between Borderlands 2 and 3 is when this is supposed to be happening. Tiny Tina's
Mhm.
older, like she is in Borderlands 3. And this game is way different from the DLC, but it will tie in because it's a role playing Dungeons and Dragons story. But in the DLC standalone that we're getting for PS Plus, it's just another Borderlands game, basically, is what it is. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, however, the new game, you can build your character literally however you want, like they're an actual D&D character, and
Huh.
you can up their stats and strength, dex, constitution. Like when you made your character the other night, your character's profile looks almost identical to a Dungeons and Dragons character sheet in the game, and it looks like it's going to be awesome. So that's why I think they're doing the standalone DLC is to get everyone excited for that. But we're already all excited
Right.
for it. I mean, we don't need that. We can do something else.
Well, it's marketing, really. It's
It
like an advert.
is. It is. Yeah. And
And honestly, like you're gonna see the game on your like as an icon whenever you get on your PlayStation
yeah.
every day, and
Which
eventually you're gonna be like, maybe I should buy that new game.
yeah. And I've played. And I've already played through that. I played that. I don't need to play it again. So I probably doubt I play that. I'm not going to play the UFC game. The only one out of the three that maybe I might play, maybe at some point, is Planet Coaster.
Yeah, I actually would play Planet Coaster if I had the fucking
PS5.
PlayStation.
That one's the PS5 exclusive. Is
Yes,
Planet Coaster.
yes.
But it's
Fuck
straight
you,
up roller
Andrew Joy.
coaster tycoon, but it's an entire planet, and that's that sounds good. So, but they were again, PlayStation kind of messed up this month because I feel like you need to go 2 for 3 to like 2 good games to be in the green. They're definitely in the orange or red this month with 2 of the games. This is what people are mad about. There are people who are mad about Planet Coaster too, but that's honestly going to be a pretty good game. There's going to be a lot of people that play that. So
Right.
that one I don't
Well,
think they did very bad on.
also on the topic of video games, have you tried Arceus yet?
Only a little bit. I'm going to be playing the shit out of it tonight after we're done with this.
Nice.
Colton has been playing the shit out of it.
Yeah. And well, what has he said about it so far?
He hates XP share. He wishes, like, he's liking it so far. The only thing that he hates that's missing is that the gyms are not in the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
He misses gyms, but he hates XP share. He's not a fan.
Yeah.
Which I understand.
And
Totally understand.
and honestly, they used to let you turn it off.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what he
for the
wants.
first
He's
couple
like,
games.
I want an option. I want an option to turn this shit off.
Yeah. Right. And I can understand that because like sometimes you want to like take leveling up Pokemon slow so you can get them certain items to focus on certain stats, and
I like
you only get so many chances for certain stat improvements because you can only level them up 100 times,
the reason
and
I
the easiest to
love
level up
Pokemon
forward.
so
Sorry, go
much
ahead.
is because it's the only grindy game that I know that so many other of my friends play and enjoy. I mean, um, Soren, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Colton loves Pokemon. Colton hates grindy games unless it's Pokemon. That's the only one he likes. But he hates XP share. He wants to only grind out one Pokemon at a time. He doesn't want
Now,
to grind out an entire team. Uh,
okay,
that's
why?
how he wants to do it.
Is it because he used to play the old ones and?
Yes. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
He's a big Pokemon boy, and he wants it to be
But
like
at
the older
this
games.
right at the same time, though, the reason why they do have it is because you have the 6 slots for your Pokemon. Well, there's 6 times more Pokemon
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
so it's about the same amount of time now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's true, but he wants all of the Pokemon you beats experience going towards one Pokemon. Uh, because
Right.
he just grind out one for a long time until he grinds out another one. He likes getting them evolved as fast as possible. Is what he likes doing.
I don't think with the XP share, I don't think that like it takes from your main Pokemon HP. The other Pokemon in your party just get half as much HP, or sorry, not
XP.
HP, XP
Yeah.
as as your Pokemon
I
that
know
was.
in other ones it did take away. It was like split up between them. But the one that was out there the most and did most of the fighting got most of it. But some of the XP was still taken away. If it's shared in
Mm,
that way, he probably wouldn't hate it as much. But he still doesn't want to. He still doesn't want it. He wants an option to have it off. He doesn't care that's in the game. He just wants to turn it off.
right, right,
And I
yeah,
totally get that because
that's
there's
fair.
sometimes I
Yeah.
want to just level up one or two Pokemon at a time. I get it. I get it.
Hmm. He could just have one in his party.
I think that's what he's been doing to combat it. I think he's been doing like one or two in his party to combat
Oh,
that.
damn.
And
I mean, if you're good enough, then you can last a long time with just one Pokemon. You just have to know the right moves
right.
that give you most range. But you definitely want to have a couple more as
Oh,
backup.
for sure. And I'm going to look at my notes real quick because I had something
Yeah, absolutely.
that I wanted to talk about
Yeah,
and
absolutely, dude.
see what's going on. See how that went. Oh, okay. So this isn't going to be. So the kind of people who are going to listen to this podcast probably aren't going to be uh, huge sports guys, but that's okay.
I'm not.
Yeah, Brandon's not.
See,
So I grew up with like my dad is one of the biggest sports guys
mhm.
I've ever met in my life, and it was a disappointment to have a son who was born with a heart problem who couldn't really play every sport, but that didn't actually end up bothering him.
Okay.
That's just a joke I like to make. It's like too bad that happened to you, but he doesn't really care. He would have preferred that I maybe got to play more sports. Doctors okayed baseball, so I played baseball. That was cool. I love baseball, but it's one of the ways I bonded with my dad over time is by like watching sports and stuff with him and
Hmm.
getting to know sports extremely well. Well, right now the two games to decide who we're going to the Super Bowl were tonight for the AFC and the NFC. And my favorite team is going to the Super Bowl. I just found out, so I'm fucking pumped.
And who
Which
is that again?
that's the Rams. I'm Rams
Oh, the
fan.
Rams.
Yeah,
Do they
the
have the other
Chiefs
team
lost
yet?
tonight to the Bengals, so it'll be the Bengals and the
Oh,
Rams.
oh
So
shit.
so go Rams.
Actually, okay, okay. So just a quick disclaimer: I do not care about sports. I
Yeah,
don't give a shit about
yeah,
football.
yeah,
I do, however, know what happened with the game tonight because it was on the TV at
and
the
El
birthday
Dorado.
party, and there wasn't much to do.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. It's a
so
good
I
thing.
saw. So
Football's fun to watch when there's nothing else to do, for sure.
right, if if it's the only thing on, and I'll resort to it. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I don't watch
I've
TV,
had to watch
so
it at my family's house. But I did think that it was interesting. Like Kaylee and I did actually talk about the fact that they like at the very last second tied up the game. But then, okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. But then the other team would have had the ball, right? So then they were trying to go for an interception to turn around in the overtime to get another point. That's what would have had to happen, right? But then the other team did make the goal.
So overtime rules are weird, and I still don't actually know the overtime rules. I know for sure the first team to score a touchdown wins the game if it's in overtime. First team to
But
score a
since
touchdown in overtime, you win for sure. I think they won with a field goal. They won by 3.
they, oh, I don't know.
I think the Bengals won by
I don't know
3,
that part.
which would be a field goal. And if they won with a field goal, I think the overtime rules are that the other team gets a chance to score because they scored a field goal. Now, if the Bengals would have scored with a touchdown, game's over. They were the first to score. Because overtime rules are weird and I hate them. They're stupid. I hate the overtime rules. They're bad.
And I know just about them.
Yeah.
So
See,
don't
and I
even
still don't know
ask.
everything about them. I know standard rules of football. I do not know overtime rules because the overtime rules get changed a lot, and I don't know the current overtime rules. I knew them when I was younger because overtime used to be different. I think I didn't really pay as much attention when I was a kid, though. I just liked watching it with my dad because it was something to do with him. So it was enjoyable to do. And I have favorite players, and I have my favorite team, but a lot of people don't. Like, there's so many people on my friends list that are happy. When I was checking Facebook and Twitter earlier, that the Chiefs lost. There's so many people that are happy. I like their quarterback a lot, Patrick Mahomes. He's super cool. I don't like the Chiefs. I like their quarterback, though. So I root for certain players, and I always root for the Rams no matter what. And that's just how it goes. But that's all I want to do, talk about sports. I just wanted to see how it, because at the time we're recording this podcast was exactly when this game would have been ending, and my Rams won. So I'm happy.
Right. Which I'm sure that we'll talk about the Super Bowl whenever it happens.
We'll talk about Super Bowl. We'll talk about big sports things. We're not going to talk about every fucking game because I don't watch the games. I don't.
No,
Unless I'm watching them with my dad. That's the only time I'm watching them.
It'll be a very, very rare occasion, like now, whenever you'll find me bringing it up. But but my family does love sports, and especially football. Football's everyone's favorite. I'm the fucking black sheep in my family because I'm the only one that doesn't want to watch grown men fondle each other over balls.
Yeah, that's why I don't like the UFC. I understand watching.
When they use their teeth,
you want to watch?
Right?
UFC is just straight up people. They just fight each other, but a lot of it turns into hugging on the ground, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't like. It's boring to me. It just doesn't hold my interest. If I'm gonna watch 2 grown men fight, it's gonna be over like a hot dog or something. I want like a bar fist fight over a county dog.
Yeah,
I watch that any day.
Right, but it's weird. I think I told you this at D&D the other day. I'll go to a sporting event and enjoy myself. If I'm
you like going to the live, you like actually being there.
Yeah. It's entertaining to me to be there in person. Watching.
Same. Also, way more fun to go to an actual event rather than watch it on the television. 100%.
Right. I don't want to keep track on the TV.
Yeah. And I've gone to football games. I've never went to an NFL game. I went to college games because I went to Pitt State, and that was like our big sport. So I went to some of those.
Yeah.
Extremely fun. I had a blast at every single one because I was there, and my fellow college students took that shit seriously, and it was fun. We were all very excited or angry together. It was it was great stuff. It was really fun to do. And I've watched more baseball than anything, which a lot of people don't find enjoyable. I prefer to play. I want to play baseball. I don't want to watch it.
I like playing baseball.
Yeah, I want to play baseball. The only time I enjoy watching baseball is when I watched my little brother play, because he was always like the best on the field, and he was, he's a baseball all-star. So, it's fun to watch those people, especially when it's a family or friend,
Right.
So,
my experience with going to sporting events, the ones I can recall, I guess, one was where I got woken up an hour before leaving to go to Kansas City really super fucking early because I guess my brother couldn't make it for whatever reason.
Right.
And they were forcing me to go just because they didn't want to waste a ticket. Otherwise, I didn't want to.
Tickets are expensive, so I get that kind of.
Yeah.
But, I would hate to be forced to go to one.
doesn't mean I didn't try fighting it. I didn't give
Yeah.
a shit how much they spent on taking it. Like that doesn't mean I want to fucking
Like, yeah, maybe you should have thought
go.
that maybe he couldn't make it and found someone else instead, or just not thought to take it.
Well, it was like the day of though. Like
Oh,
something had
damn.
happened to my brother, not make it, and then like it was the day of. They woke me up an hour before leaving, saying, "Hey, you're coming with and using this ticket." And,
Yeah.
um. And so like whenever I was there, um, my wife is staring at me. Whenever I was there, like I of course don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So I'm with my dad, well my stepdad, but I usually refer to him as my dad, which I
Right.
will in this podcast. Um, and his dad, and then all of their buddies. Like I'm at the end, and they're all on the other side of me, and probably about 6 or 7 of them all together. So they're the ones to get up and fucking react and be
Yeah.
like if there was a touchdown, get
Was
up
this a
and cheer
Chiefs game?
and like yeah, this is a Chiefs
All
game.
right. Yeah.
And so me, I would just sit there
Yeah.
like all awkwardly like no, no, I'm not doing that. To me it was embarrassing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't see myself doing it.
Right.
Like even though every other person there was doing it and probably wouldn't even fucking notice me because they're, you know, on their
They're in the moment.
testosterone highs.
They're not gonna notice everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah. It still felt very embarrassing.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I've been to sporting events where I don't care. The sport I care the least about is basketball. Um, where I'd go to, I've been to basketball games with friends before, like uh, whether it be college games. I've been in an NBA game. Yeah, I was not very excited to be there because I just don't care. They were getting super excited. They were jumping up and down, kind of, like you were saying, your stepdad and his buddies did. It was like, yeah, I didn't really do that.
Yeah.
I was just like, I was there. I had fun with my buddies. I still had a good time because I just made jokes. I'd point out, ugly people in the crowd. Someone would make a goofy face as they're making a shot and it's up on the jumbotron, and it would like slow mo show their face. And I'd just start laughing my ass off because it was so funny, stuff like that. So I still had a good time, but yeah, I sat
Yeah.
there awkwardly when they jump up and down, and then I was like almost embarrassed at like how they were acting, but so was everyone else. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like, oh okay, I'm like,
it's
it's
it's a
whatever.
it's a it's very conflicting in the moment,
Yeah,
like because it is what everyone else is doing, like we've been saying, but
yeah.
yeah,
You feel embarrassed because you see the
you have
people
that,
that
yeah,
you
it's
know
embarrassing.
doing this thing, and you're not doing it. But then everyone else is doing it,
Mhm.
so then you're like, what the fuck? Why am I even embarrassed? But you can't get the embarrassed feeling out of you.
Well, and it's in that moment, it's like somehow you're the only normal
Oh
one
yeah,
when you're in fact not.
yeah, yeah.
You're the only one that's not normal in
You're the
that
only one not
situation.
normal in that specific situation. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
But to you are the fucking normal one.
yeah, you're
That's
the
why you feel embarrassed.
yeah. But
I am superior.
at baseball games, I'm one of the vocal people who are watching the games. Like when there was some BS, or normally it was me arguing with other people on the same team as me. Like the same team that I'm watching, like other parents or something like that. Because I'll say it on the podcast, I don't give a shit. There's My town does not like my little brother. They don't. They are
Oh,
jealous
really?
of him. There are people who do not like him because they are definitely jealous of him. He's no angel. I understand that. Everyone thinks he's an asshole. Yeah, he can be a jackass, but he was made that
Oh, I
way.
met him.
Back whenever he was
Yeah.
young, until like the second grade, he was like the biggest sweetheart little brother on the planet. He was great.
Mm.
And then by the time he hit second grade, and we started playing sports at the school, everyone just decided, let's make this kid's life a living hell because he has natural talent, and I don't like that. And so they started making his life a living hell, and I will always hate this town and the people who did that for like to him. I will always dislike those people.
Mhm.
So yeah, I argued with people.
That's fair. And
Pe-
in small towns like that, if you're like, if you're good at something,
Which I never understood because
there's no one else like.
people loved me, and I didn't. I mean, it's probably because I didn't get a bunch of playtime in sports. I wasn't a threat. I didn't play basketball. Like
Yeah,
town played basketball
you
and
were the
baseball.
resident. Dyson, you were the residential handicap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was the kid with the heart problem, and
You,
I didn't get
everyone didn't know what to do but be nice to you.
I didn't get played because of my heart problem, not because of my skill level. It was because of my heart problem. So I wasn't a threat because I didn't get played.
Yeah.
My senior year was the only year I played varsity baseball, like in high school, because one, I made sure that that was gonna be how it was. Is my senior year, like I'm gonna play varsity, so I worked really hard to make my coach make me make me a varsity player. So I took like a weights class. I got in super good shape. I got even better at baseball than I already was. I was already good. And then I became one of our best players. And I played all year. And
Oh
I was
yeah.
great at it. And uh, people started to treat me a little bit differently then because I was a threat to their precious, children and stuff. But I didn't give a shit because people already treated my brother that way. I knew what was happening. But mostly people were
Um,
still nice to me.
I have a similar story about my dad, but I also like have experienced that. Like, remember whenever I got promoted at Walmart, and then like shit just started rolling downhill.
Yes, I
Like,
do. Yeah, because
yeah.
shit really started rolling downhill. Yeah, I remember that part.
Hmm.
Because
That
it
was
was,
just
dude,
fucking
it was
awful.
like, dude, it was quick. It was fucking quick.
Yeah, I went from like one of the best associates to one of the like shittiest associates who just, disrespects everyone. And it's like, what the fuck? I was told that I was heard bragging that I would get a pay raise to $15 an hour, but all I did was all I said was that it was $15 an hour,
Yeah.
repeating what was on the fucking poster, and they were like, "You shouldn't talk about how much
See,
that you're
I
going to get
don't
paid.
even
It's
know
on the
who.
fucking poster.
Yeah, it's on the poster. Yeah, I don't know.
Everyone's
I don't
talking
even know.
about it."
Like, I don't even know who, heard that and then complained about it because I definitely didn't tell anybody because
I know exactly what I
I
know
was like happy
exactly.
for you. I was like 15 an hour, fuck yeah, dude. Because a few years
Yeah,
ago, 15 an hour was great. Now it's starting to not be
right.
great, but
Oh, it was awesome. I had money that I could wipe my ass with. It was awesome.
yeah, yeah,
But
exactly. I was like, and
yeah,
you definitely weren't bragging. You were happy about it. That's what it was.
I
You're
was
like,
absolutely happy.
and like you said, it was on the fucking poster.
Yeah, and I don't want to say anyone's name, but like what had happened was I was telling one person about that. He repeated it to another person, a certain older person that you probably know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Not the department manager, but she was there at the same time.
Yes, yes, I know
Um,
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
mhm. She somehow, like, when he told it to her, like a fucking game of telephone, was like somehow interpreted it as me saying that, like, talk like bragging about, oh, I don't have to listen to my department manager anymore, blah 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 blah, and I'll be running her part of the department now, blah 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 blah. And it was like, whoa, first off, I don't think I would have gotten this fucking position because of our department manager.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, you worked hard. That's all I remember whenever I worked with you was like that you were definitely one of the harder workers of like the people I worked with. Like
right, I tried.
you tried. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Uh,
honestly, like, that experience killed a lot of zeal that I had for work. Because,
I
like,
mean, understandably.
I, yeah, because, like, you knew I started calling in more after
I
that.
had
And then,
zeal. I had zeal at the start of it because I was like, I'm making my own money now. This is great. So I wanted
right.
to be good at my job, and I never really got to the point where I was terrible, but which you didn't either. But uh,
Yeah, I just called in. I just, like,
yeah,
started drinking more, was stressed out a lot, and
yeah. So,
started getting less fucks. But I was still damn good at my job.
dude, I butted heads with a lot of. I ended up butting heads with a lot of people, and I'm not known for that.
Yeah.
Like people who I grew up with would be like, what? Dyson got in an argument with this person? They'd be mind blown.
Mm.
They would be astonished because I was the guy that everyone could talk to. I hung out with everybody. All the younger kids thought I was super cool. All the older kids thought that I was a chill person to hang out with because I didn't want to argue with anybody. I don't have the time for it. I really didn't. I was like, I'm just gonna go home. I'm gonna go fucking play video games because that's all there is to do in this fucking town. So I was funny, and I played video games, and I had this stereotype about me where people thought I stayed up all night every night playing games. I'm like, no, I got a heart problem. I gotta sleep. But But I was cool with everybody. But yeah, for whatever reason, people we worked with, um, yeah, I felt like yours was a witch hunt almost. It was like, oh, this he said that. Let me twist some words around to where
God,
it sounds like he said this. But it's whatever. Now it's in the past. We're away from that place. I
right.
got a Monday through Friday, like a 7 to 4 job where I'm making good money and I have my insurance paid for, full benefits. Like it's pretty great, and I'm working with buddies of mine. I just got to drive an hour to work every day. That's the only downside. We're out
Yeah.
of there now, thankfully.
Uh,
I'm thankful for it anyways that I finally got out of there because you got fired in January of that year of 2018, or was it
I'm not
December
sure.
2017?
Something like that. I
Because
think it was 2018.
if it was 2018, it was January. Um,
I think so.
because it was mid February for me.
It
Whenever
was right after Christmas. It was
it was
January. I
January,
remember.
okay, it was mid February for me because I uh, got a stomach flu, like a stomach bug, and I missed like an entire week of work and pointed out. So they fired me for it. And I was like, well, sorry, I was sick. I didn't want to come to work and shit my pants with diarrhea in front of everybody.
Right.
Like I was very close to my bathroom that entire week. So there's some rules that are done, but yeah, no, yours was straight up a witch hunt, and I was not very
Yeah.
happy about it, and that's why I kind of didn't give a fuck
Oh
when I
yeah.
called in for my stomach flu. I was just like, damn, I really should go to work, but then I was like, never mind. Like, I
Yeah.
I'm not gonna shit my pants in front of everybody. Call in, no problem.
Right. And
There's
like
two
I did
things:
have
the shit my pants part, and they fucked Brandon over.
right, and I did have like
So I don't
such a
care.
select amount of people who actually like understood what the fuck was going on, and like a lot of people hated me after that. It sucked.
Don't
I could like
understand.
most of the department managers didn't like me for some reason.
It's so stupid. But like the thing I was saying about my brother earlier, so yeah, he was really talented, and people would say stuff too. So he was the only person who wasn't allowed to make a mistake in basketball or baseball games, and I
Oh God, yeah,
so
yeah.
in baseball games
I know
and
exactly what you
so
mean.
in baseball games he didn't make mistakes. He was the all-star player. All-star player. He didn't make mistakes. He was great in every
Mhm.
game he played. Uh, he did everything right because baseball was his sport. So of course he did everything right. Um, but I remember there was one time he got mad at one of his teammates for throwing the ball like all wild and shit. Like it was like the third baseman threw the ball to the first baseman like terribly. Like it was a bad throw. And Town was just like wasn't even mean about it, nothing. Sometimes he could get a little bit like, what the fuck are you doing? But he was just like, he's like, dude, he's like, just slow down a little bit, and like take your time, make that throw. You can make the throw before the guy gets to the base. Like, then fine. He's like, just slow down a little bit. And man, some people freaked out from the stands, like our own play, like our own like crowd, like yelling shit at him, and I yelled some shit back at them. I said, hey, maybe if he didn't fucking suck, he wouldn't have to say that stuff to him.
Mm.
And he's like, and he wasn't even saying anything bad. And he's like, he told him to slow down and chill. Like, he did everything right except for he rushed himself. Like, what the fuck are you guys freaking out about? I'm like, keep his name out of your mouths, please. You guys don't know this, but I'm a crazy person. There was a lot of games like that. Baseball, I didn't really have to do it too much. Basketball games is where I got into yelling matches with people because Town would
Hmm.
Town would pass the ball and his passes were very fast right to people, but because he threw them so fast, his teammates didn't know how to catch it. They hit their hands and they'd like drop it. They just couldn't catch the pass, and they'd yell, "Stop passing it so hard, Dallin!" Start screaming his name, screaming other things at him, and then I'd be like, "These motherfuckers done fucked up," and
Hmm.
go over there to them and be like, "Hey, yell something at Town again. I dare you. I really want you to." Like, cause then I can start yelling some really stupid shit at our other players, cause I'll do it. Like, uh, or I just do that. I wouldn't even go up to the people. Like someone else would do something terrible, and I just at the top of my lungs scream something at them, like, "Yo, fucking stop being so shitty at the game," or whatever they fucked up with. I'd be like, do you not know how to dribble a basketball? Because they like get a traveler or something. I'm like, or if they go out of bounds, I'd be like, those lines mean you're going out of bounds, stupid. So I was just mean to the other players who are also mean to my brother whenever they did something stupid. And then people didn't really like that much. But at that point, I graduated. I didn't give a shit anymore. I was like, I don't have
Absolutely.
to I don't have to go back into school the next day and act like I care about these people because I don't.
Yeah,
Like,
that's beautiful.
like once I was graduated, I was like, fuck this school. Like, I graduated from here already. It was super easy to do, not hard at all. Everyone who is stuck in the past and thinks this place is so great is a fucking lunatic. So here we go. I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want whenever I want. That's how it
Uh,
goes.
so I think we should probably be getting the podcast
We
wrapped
probably
up.
should wrap it up.
But
I'm gonna see if I had one more thing, but I really don't think I do.
I
I don't know if it's game
I
related or not.
earlier I brought up that I had a story about my dad, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell it.
Yeah, go for it.
Kind of like kind of like with your heart problem playing baseball.
Mm-hmm.
He had so like when my grandma was pregnant, the doctor, and this was like this was like
The
kind of a weird
70s.
time. Yeah, and like the doctor had prescribed my grandma ibuprofen,
Oh,
which you do not take when you're
pregnant.
pregnant.
Yeah,
And I guess, and this was like over the counter. So this
yeah,
was like, they didn't know, that much about it at the time, I guess.
right.
So my dad is born, and come to find out, he has, what's it called? A cleft foot.
Cleft foot.
It's like half a foot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cleft
it's
foot.
like
Yeah,
half its regular size.
yeah.
And so when he grew up, like it was just it grew, but it was still only about half the size.
Mm-hmm.
So like even though he had that, uh, I mean, it looked like a normal foot. It just looked more
It's
like
just
a baby
smaller.
foot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One of my
like,
classmates has a cleft foot that I grew
oh
up with.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But he played basketball, so he actually got an article in the like paper about it, how he has his cleft foot and
Mm.
how he was actually like a really good player.
Yeah, wearing two different size
So
shoes, but still balling on the court.
I think what he did was he had the same size shoes. I think he might have just done something to fill in one shoe.
Wear a
I
lot of
could be
socks
wrong.
on one foot.
Right. Like, I need to ask my grandma. He could have just shoved the sock in the
Yeah,
shoe.
yeah,
Who
that's true.
knows?
Yeah.
But anyway, so did you have any more notes?
No, I mean it was just about. Well, I was just gonna maybe talk about like shows and games we've been playing, but we can always do that in future podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Just do it next time.
yeah, exactly. So, uh, yeah, I mean, my classmate who has the cleft foot, he just wore two different size shoes. More comfortable for him
Yeah.
that way. He just
I think
he just
his
orders
was
them that way.
I think my dad actually had kind of like a bit like it was shorter, but it was a bit wider. So I don't know. Like, I mean, I have no idea. I'm gonna have to ask
His
someone
foot
how
was
he did his
basic.
shoe shopping.
Whenever we were really young, his foot was not like a normal foot, the smaller one. He ended up having a surgery on it, and then started growing like a normal foot. It was just ended up still smaller than the other foot, and he just had to order custom shoes. He orders one size and one the other. Is how he does it. Or
Yeah.
if he goes to an actual shoe store, that's what he does. He just gets one of one size, one of the other.
All right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, back at whenever your dad was playing basketball, I could see why that would be a little bit harder to do. Yeah, and just shove a sock in there or something.
Right.
But yeah, if you want to go ahead and do our ending, go for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thank you anyone for watching. I guess.
Yeah, we
Like,
appreciate it.
I feel like this podcast if I can talk,
Yeah.
this podcast went great.
It was good for a first one, especially not really prepping for it too much because we really didn't. We just made sure Zoom worked, and there we go.
Well, we knew a lot of what we wanted out of it.
Yes. Yeah.
And we've been talking about this for a long time. It's overdue.
Yeah.
Like, but now that we finally done it, I'm really happy with how it went, because I was worried that we might not like know what to talk about at some point
Right.
and
Well,
shit. But I'm like, we're really good at having conversations together, though.
yeah, that's why I think the notes thing, making sure we have notes, will be like topics to
Hmm.
talk about, will be good, and we're gonna get our flow down way better. We still, I think, did a good job without having any real sense of what exactly we want the podcast to be and what kind of flow we want the podcast to be. But eventually, we're gonna have that set to how we want it to be. We're gonna have a nice flow to it, nice rhythm, and we're gonna definitely get better over time, quality wise. Where, uh, especially when we're in person, we'll do a much better job. But I don't think we did a bad job this time around, so that was good.
Right. Well, it looks like my mom is calling me, so I definitely need to get off. So.
All right. Well,
But anyway,
yeah. Thanks everyone for watching. Lethally Stupid. We'll
yes,
see you
thank
guys in
you.
the next one.
Yes.